Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I want to talk about 3 of my newest creations that are going to hit the workshop soon enough here. They are 3 Alta branded fire trucks. Now they are based on the Buckel Rodeo platform, which is a pickup truck, so they're not huge, but they're intended for putting out fires around the mine sites, oil dig sites, transport, all that stuff. So if you do know my branding and my brands, Alta is kind of my mega conglomerate of anything industrial. So they have mines, oil fields, transportation, logistics, all that stuff. And with any big company that has activities in the field and in a site, you do need to have kind of vehicles and equipment that can handle emergencies. So introducing the Alta Emergency Operations Unit, so AEO, and their intention is to help any of the emergencies that Alta may face. So be it fires, injuries, that type of thing. So these are obviously the fire trucks. I will make a lineup of ambulances as well that'll service the Alta rigs and Alta equipment. Now all 3 of these are different. They are all based on the Rodeo platform. Like I said, this first one here is a single cab unit, so it is the shortest. The next one is a single cab off-road unit, intended for going in out of reach or hard to reach places. And lastly, we have a 4-door unit of the fire truck. Now the 4-door unit does have the largest reservoir. If we come here, we see that it's a 6,500 liter reservoir. The off-road one and the single cab units are smaller. If we step into the truck, you'll see it's the standard Buckel Rodeo layout. It's got GPS, heat, and the emergency lights are controlled here, as well as a bullhorn, siren, yelp, and all the spotlights in the front and back. So it's a fairly easy to understand unit. Now the quad cab does let you have up to 5 passengers, which is nice. So you can either have a firefighter and then take survivors that you're rescuing in this truck. It does give you that space. In the back you'll find life-saving equipment, firefighting gear, and radiation gear, as well as some other equipment here. It can tow trailers, which is nice. And here is the main pumping unit. So what you can do is you can obviously connect it to here and pump out to put out fires. And likewise, you can have, if you have the add-on for hydrants, or if you have a reservoir, you can be pumping in simultaneously as pumping out. The console light is a spotlight. I found that this orientation of light works best when it's dark. You could see the console much better than if it was just a standard light bulb. And lastly, on the other side of this unit and the single cab unit is this array, which is intended for adding water to your system. So if you run out of water and you're not near a hydrant or a tank, you can actually release this, lower it on the winch, and there's a fluid port on the bottom that you can use to pump in water. And likewise, you could return it back up. And if you turn this on and kind of push it up, it will click into place eventually. You may need there you go. So it is good for putting it back in place. Now it does lock it in position, so it makes it easier to drive. The off-road unit does not have that. Instead, it has a fluid port right on the bottom here. And the reason for that is so when you're going off-road, it's not kind of flopping around and hitting things and causing damage. Now the off-road unit is the slowest out of all of them, but it still does get up to speed. And it's a little unstable because of the suspension, but that is what it is. We're just going to go over here and test out the off-road capabilities. I do want to show you that it is a fairly robust unit, good for off-roading. Obviously within reason, you do want to go slow in the off-roading, just because if you do hit into any type of obstacle, the unit is heavy and you will cause damage to it. But here we have it. We're just climbing up this fairly easily, so I'm quite happy with how this one turned out. Now back here with these two, I'm going to hop into the single cab unit and show you how to pump water into the system. So obviously for that, you have to be near a river or a lake or something. You'll want to get into the water. How deep, I mean, that's for you to decide, but you'll see how this works. So regardless, you come over here. Now in this case, we're going to be swimming. You release this, you winch it down, you make sure that this is positioned in a place where it's for sure underwater. You may need to push it into a deeper area. And then all you do is you press this activate intake, and that will turn on the fluid port. Now in this case, our reservoir is already full, so it's not allowing more water into the system. But regardless, that's how it's done, and that's how you do it with this off-road unit. Now note you have a snorkel here, so it's actually intended for going off-road into water areas. So you can go fairly deep here, and all you do is just press this button, and that's what activates this fluid port, and you'll start to bring in water into the tank. Now stock, it does come with fresh water, so you can see here there's a little fluid meter. That's a secret, but you could use it to determine what you have. So fully fresh water. If you do put in the ocean water, it's fine too. This one has the most robust winch for towing cars or vehicles or things out of, you know, not for towing long distances, but just for pulling things. And this one has the small winch. Same system. On the roof, lastly, you will find a water intake with no pumps. So this is just kind of a dumb water intake, where if you have an external system with a pump, this is where you can pump it in. Whereas on the sides here, it actually has an in pump. So this is where you'll be pulling water out of a system into this one. And like you saw on the roof, there is kind of a fake little ladder. It's just a decor item, but I do think it looks nice and looks the part. So those are these three units. And we're going to end off the video with a demonstration putting out a fire. So if I look in the trunk of this car, how convenient. We got some C4 explosives and a detonator. So we're going to put that up here, and we're going to put one up here, and we're going to take the detonator, and we're going to run away, and we're going to press fire in the hole. So now that we have a fire, or rather two fires, we can choose which unit we want. In this case, I will take the quad cab. Why not? And we'll turn on the siren, and we'll make our way over there. Now once we're at the fire site, you'll want to stop far enough away from the fire. I'm going to turn off the alarm just so it's not kind of going off the whole time. Take a hose, add it in, press out, and start spraying. Now, bonus points if you put on the firefighter gear, you know, that's a bit better for you, especially if you're going to get close to the fire or if you're going to be rescuing people. So we're just going to start that up again, and here we have it. So we are now able to put out both fires. There's one. And that should be two in a second here, as long as it doesn't spread any further. There we have it. So we've put out both fires. We'll turn off the hose, put it back on the truck, turn this off, put away our firefighting gear, and voila! We just put out two car fires with the AEO unit. And like I said, there's a difference between all three of them, even though they are fairly similar. They will hit the workshop here soon enough, but I did want to bring them to your attention and show you how they work and kind of get you a little bit of an explanation to them. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, stay tuned for more releases and creations, and as always, happy Stormworksing.